What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So unfortunately, like I said in the last video, I completely didn't think of making a 67 Mustang video, so I'm gonna apologize in advance. I kind of started it, you know, like as it already started, so let's see what the finished result looks like. Let's do it. Alright guys, so we started the sanding, and yeah, we got a lot more to go. So gonna get this finished up in regards to the sanding, and then see what the body lines look like. You know, make it nice and pretty, and we'll see how bad this car can get. So my goal for this is, once we get everything painted satin black, I'm going to go with the LED tail lights. May or may not do a small trunk spoiler just to break it up, a front lip spoiler, and going to actually go with black handles, and also part black, part stainless, or chrome I should say, on the mirrors as well. Let's see what she looks like at the end. So we're gonna do some, yeah, this is just a test spot, and obviously, I mean, it's not gonna be a show car, but it's gonna look clean. So I mean, that was a really light coat, but I gotta sand this down. So I just pretty much filled up some small spots. Gonna sand it down, and then we're gonna coat it with this. Let's do it. So here's the idea. So I'm gonna take the mirrors off, obviously, and tape the window, and we'll see what this looks like at the end. Let's do it. One step in the right direction. Getting primed. Getting primed. Still have some little more touch up, but she's looking pretty nice compared to what it was. Not bad. Let's continue. Well, everybody, today was Christmas morning because we have unwrapped the Stangerang, and looks a hell of a lot better than it did. So we did go satin, and now we got to put this baby back together. But this is going to look nice. And now I kind of want to change the hood to a cowl hood, but we'll get there. Let's get it together. Boom, boom. Yeah. No power tools for you. These things are so much easier going in than coming out. Mostly. In case you guys were wondering, this is sometimes such a pain in the ass. But eventually you can get your arm in there and hope for the best. And now, just so you guys know, we gotta get, there's a rod way deep in there. It's all the way in the back. So I gotta get my arm to reach back there, pop the clip in, test the locking mechanism, and then get a nut, a bolt, a few other things, and we'll be good to go. After a lot of cursing, we hooked up. So now we're gonna get this in. I didn't want to put it in before, so it wouldn't completely scratch the paint. So literally, it's just feel around. You gotta be good at fingering. And now we got the 8mm bolt on. And yeah, this isn't the easiest thing, but it works. Let's tighten her up. Ooh, that's always a good sign. Find all the little holes and just work it. Sweet. Little cleaning. Alright, because I'm extremely desperate to get this thing on the road, because I've had this for months and probably only drove it for a total of 15 minutes, so I don't even know what this thing is capable of. But one thing that really annoyed me was the mechanical fan. So we got this baby. So we're gonna get this all plugged up, and hopefully she fits real smooth. Let's give it a shot. So, as you can see, there is no clearance. So what my thought is, what we're gonna probably do is try to move, I don't think I can bend this, but I'm gonna unbolt this, or all 4 bolts for the radiator, and try to swing it to the front. That way I'd have that much more clearance to be able to put my fan. So let's try to unbolt this baby. Well, I'm gonna move a full radiator full of coolant. This should be real fun. So first, I'm gonna remove these things. So I'm not even gonna show you the massacre of total crap that I did, but that's a lot more clearance, and now I can actually move the fan. So to give you an idea of what I did, I slipped it through the front here, slipped it through the front there, and was able to hook it down low. I'm still going to put bolts in, but I'm going to get this fan bolted up. Now that we have actual clearance, it's time to install our Mishimoto electric fan controller. Sweet. So what I did was, so far, I have the probe here. It's going to run up, along, and then to our controller, which is going to be here somewhere. We'll figure it out, and we'll dial it in. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it right here, and then what I'll be able to do is pretty much take my ground, and that should be it. So let's get this wired. We'll ground it right there. And just like that, we'll put this in a loom as best I can. And then we just gotta run. So our override switch, I'm not gonna care about right now. I do wanna put an override switch in just in case. And then all we have is our positive and our yellow, which is the switched ignition, which I got to put on our solenoid. So let's do it. So for now, we're mounted, wired. Still have to tune it a little bit, but fans in, radiators supported, and not going anywhere. I think we're ready to fire this up for the first time in about 5 months, I feel like. Let's give it a shot. Fill it, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo. My God, I missed this car. There is no parking brake, and my passenger seat is yet to be bolted in, but I can't help it, and something is smoking, and I don't know what it is, nor do I think I give a crap. But this thing has been sitting a while. I have been doing a lot of work to it, so here we go. Hello, gorgeous. 100% missed this baby, but it's slow as shit. Yep, it's a turd, but she looks good. Alright, so since the seats are pretty much hacked up in this car, and by hacked up I mean like literally they cut the bases, they welded on studs, the holes don't line up underneath, and I still want to technically drive this, and I don't know if what I plan on doing is even gonna work in this car. So I'd rather leave the driver's seat as is, and they're powered, so I can't move it at all, which is awesome. So we're gonna take off this side panel, and that way we can see how our S197 rear seat's gonna fit, and then we can make hopefully adjustments to make it work. So I'm gonna remove this door sill, hopefully if I can get to the screws, remove this side panel, and then we'll jump right back. Sweet. All right, so here's my thought process, right? Now that everything is kind of removed at this point, this is where I want my seat to sit, because I feel like it's actually in a good position to where you still have leg room in the back. It's arched over the trans tunnel, and I mean, the positioning's good. The only thing that sucks is this. So pretty much the seat's sitting over the back deck, so where the luggage carrier, whatever the hell you call it. So what I'm thinking is possibly removing this deck and building, well, I wanted to remove it anyway, and pretty much put some type of bump, recut the wood, and literally get it to where it reaches over that back portion, so that way I can put my bracket in. So it's going to pretty much slant up. So I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take these seats out again and remove this. Who needs speakers? It's a classic car. So basically, if I were to recut that board and shape it to the trunk, put some type of wooden spacer back here to make like a ramp, you know, to come up. Now I just got to measure from here to that top deck, and hopefully should be it without really doing too much more. All right, now since I got the wrong plywood for the rear, now I feel like going back out again, we're gonna put block spacers in this. So basically, this is what I'm talking about. So I want to lower the back end, right? So pretty much what we're going to do is these spacers are going to sit in between the leaf spring and the axle, pushing the axle up, hopefully giving us a better stance. Now, these are 1 inch. Hopefully it works. We'll see. So, time for some really sketchy crap because I love sketchy crap, because it just keeps it fun. And this is why you should have the right tools. Which, in my defense, this lift is my first time using it, and yeah, I'm waiting for my V-Jacks to come in. So judge me all you want. I don't care. So you'll start to see the axle separating. So once it does, it's pretty much all you need. You know, so that way you can clear it. So I have my block. So a little bit more. And that's it. There's your block spacer. Gonna drop down slow, and you may have to adjust the axle a little bit so it lands. Take her home. Goodbye 2x6. Goodbye jack. Alright, so once you're set up there, then you can throw a plate. May have to loosen this up a little bit more. Don't take it all the way out because you're gonna regret it. Believe me. Drop our U-bolts in. And now for the bigger pain, which is getting these to line up, because once again, I don't have the right jacks, so that sucks. But you know, it is what it is. Lead spring lined up underneath like that. Sometimes it's easier to do this side. And just like that. And then we just got to tighten our two shocks down, and we're good to go. Because the front, I mean, it's still gonna relax, but not terrible. Definitely want a little more tuck, but not terrible. Alright, now that the suspension's pretty much settled, I actually like it. So we're gonna get this car up. I want to finish the outside finishing touches. Did get the back window tinted in the meantime, because once I do these rear seats, it's gonna be a pain anyway to get to. So here we are. We're going back up, and I'll show you guys pretty much one of the only things left on the exterior, and then we gotta jump into the interior. Next point of tackle is, I love side pipes, right? Like these are just boring. I don't know what this is, but like you can picture something like that on that. I think we could do something here. Can you guys see my vision? Mean. That's gonna look so mean. All right, so let's get this cut back. Gonna have to come up probably on the exhaust hanger and get this to sit pretty flush with the body. Wow. Now that's a side pipe. Just a little low, but we can adjust that. Thinking like more. Even better. Yeah, baby. Oh, she is gorgeous. Other side. Alright, back to the interior. Once again, don't want to touch the driver's side yet because I have no idea if this is even going to work. But clearly, the supports were already replaced, and honestly, it looks extremely friggin' clean. I mean, probably one of the cleanest replacements I've seen. So, I'm going to cut this out, or at least try to drill out the tack weld, and then I'm going to try to place a seat here and just see exactly what we're dealing with. So after a lot of tedious work, and the reason why I didn't want to cut this was because in case this idea doesn't work, I could at least kind of reshape this and tack weld where it was. So here's what we're left with. And pretty much what I'm going to do is I want to just put the seat in here and see exactly what it looks like. And then what I'm probably planning on doing is actually putting a brace underneath the car. So that way, you know, everything kind of stays together. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I can fit something up here. I'm thinking maybe a piece of steel going welded from here to there and there to there. Once again, just for support. But let's see what it sits like and then we'll go from there. I think I actually still have to trim a bracket on this. Yeah, I do. So much better. So what I wound up doing, so I just have it like one bolt in for now, just to see. I did have to grind down some of the original bracket. These seats I got for $300 on Facebook. They were posted for literally 10 minutes. Still have to clean them, obviously, but not really worried about that now since everything is completely dusty anyway. But what we're gonna do is, now that we know that this sits where I'm not bashing my head against the headliner, what we have to do is reinforce our floor so that way it doesn't fall through. So what I'm thinking is possibly some type of U-channel that I'm gonna weld down in order to reinforce it. I'll probably tack weld it because my welding skills look terrible for the most part. But yeah, so we're gonna reinforce the bottom instead of up here, so that way I could keep this as low as possible. I may even be able to still grind down some of this right here because it's kind of floating on the rail, but I just don't know how I'm gonna do that yet since this bolt hole I really have to reuse anyway. So I'm going to take this back out and we'll see what we can do to possibly sink it down even another, like this is probably about an inch, which would make a huge difference. Alright, so here we are fitted with panels in. So yes, it sits up a little higher. I'm going to build something to pretty much be able to support those backrests. But now I'm going to screw these panels in, and then we got to get in our actual brackets for the seats, you know, so that way they hold down. And then I really can't strap it here, so I'm going to figure something out. Yes, you could see like a little bit of play, but I'm fine with that. Like, you'll never know. So brackets, those brackets, and let's see what it looks like. Not bolting it down yet, just test fit. Alright, so I'm lined up in the back. So now I just gotta get the other bracket, but I want to get this bolted down so I know exactly where I'm going. Finished product, mostly. Still have to figure out this tab, like how I want to finish that off. I did have to put a block here, but it looks just like it was meant to fit. You know, so I extended the platform because it was short, but other than that, pretty freaking close. Pretty close. Woo-hoo-hoo! One thing done. And we have a finished S197 backseat. And honestly, extremely happy with it. So how I did it, and you guys will pretty much complain, but I did use wood. Ignore the speaker, I'm going to be replacing them. I thought they worked, but this one is blown out. So I actually drilled a piece of wood. I mean, it's not like, I mean, if you're in this car and you get into an accident, you're pretty much on the verge of dying anyway, since there's no airbags or whatever. But for now, pretty good. I do have to figure out a way to latch this down on the bottom, and I have an idea of how I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. I want to get these front seats in first. That way, this car will pretty much be complete at that point. I say complete, but probably not complete. So, anyway, let's keep going. Goodbye. Crappy powered seats. Now for the fun part. Alright, so now that I know this works, I'm just going to cut it out. So, what I'm going to do is literally just cut right around the edge. This side I'm going to have to grind down a little bit so the track can fit, but other than that, should be good to go, I think. Good God. All right, now to clean all this stuff up and get our seat placement down. And bang, we are in. So much cleanup to do. Still gotta put the trim in, fix this. A lot of cleanup. But really, the only thing left to get this thing together is gonna be an oil change and cleaning the crap out of this. So let's do it. Better. And the answer is no. Yep. And here we go. All right, so this car had a lot of wheel hop. Pretty much, it popped my clutch right there. If you can see it. Pretty much it popped my clutch right off. So, now, as for everything else, I mean, the trans mount looks good, I think. I could be completely wrong in saying that, but there's no broken bolts, there's no leaks. All the bolts are still in the trans, which is always a good sign. Motor mounts seem good, no oil leaks. So, I'm hoping that if we just get this baby back into our clutch, we should be good, as long as it didn't completely explode on me, which would not surprise me at all. So let's see. All right, clutch cable is back in. I guess let's get her back into gear and see what she does. All right, third, fourth. All right, let's hope it doesn't just start in gear. So far, so good. Guess we'll see if it actually goes in gear. That's a good sign. Also a good sign. Why are we idling so high? I don't know. Okay. So clearly, I also bent my throttle cable. Not sure how that's even a thing. Thing is so mad at me, it hurts. Alright. Well, it didn't blow up. I don't think. I also have no pedal, but at least I have a transmission, so but now we got to figure out the pedal sticking to the floor issue. Sweet. So my pedal is sticking to the floor because if you see that bracket for the pedal, it's held in by literally one bolt. I don't know if I could show you guys, but that right there is our problem. So one bolt holding the pedal down, and honestly, when I actually supported it roughly, I had a lot better throttle response. So because I was wondering, is there an ignition issue? Is it a tuning issue? But it's actually because that thing is flexing so much, it pretty much took all the throttle away. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-support that. There is a little flex in the firewall. So what I'm gonna probably do is weld a piece of steel on the inner firewall once I get those bolts through, just to literally support that to keep it from flexing. All right, let's see how we did. Not bad for a cold start. Another thing I found wrong. That don't look good. See that? That's why my trans dropped a good amount. So now going with a tubular cross member, going across, gonna get rid of all this crap. It's definitely gonna be stronger than this, and hopefully it'll hold this baby together. Stay tuned. This thing cocked so much. Like, you guys can't tell, but that's garbage. So, we have our new bar in. Now, time for an oil change, and we will finish this baby up. Alright, so I did break it. I did. And it's still kind of broken, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to fix her and make it do a burnout. For another end to this video, we're gonna fix this free lawnmower. Alright, so the free riding mower actually does have oil. Air filter is kind of dirty, but whatever, don't care about that. So this is what we got in the back, right? The solenoid's there. We have power ground, and then this, which I believe is the fuse. Solenoid looked hooked up already, so I'm going to replace this fuse holder and see if we get power and this thing will crank. Let's try it. What do you guys think? I have, for some reason, no hope on this, but we gonna find out right now. You think we'll crank? Anyone think we will crank? No good. No good. Back to the drawing board. So now that we got our fuse installed, we're gonna put our battery tray in, but I gotta figure out how to tighten that cable, because that's the reason why it is not starting. So oh, and I already see the problem. This spring is disconnected. Let's connect the spring so hopefully it stays in place. So that spring right there and now I'm locked all the way back. So that's one safety, and the other safety I believe was, if I'm not mistaken, the brake. So having this to the floor wasn't really enough. So we go here, parking brake, and yeah, that's I think a little too much play for this safety, which is going to be under here somewhere if I could find it. Meh. Okay, I'll look a little deeper in a second. Moment of truth, everybody. Will she start? Joke. Now will she drive? Oh no. We died. Reverse. Alright, I pulled a really dirty filter out. Let's see if that does anything. Might also be out of gas. Let's check gas. You're out of gas. That's even better. Yeah, see, that's the difference. Let's finish it up. All right, so those of you that cry that, oh, this isn't boat content, well, here we go. Sea-Doo Challenger 230. The issue that we have is, first off, this is getting winterized, but our gate is extremely difficult to move. Now, this is solid. There always is play in these. So I'm going to show you guys how to diagnose if it's the cable, the bucket, or the actual shifter. So let's get this baby unwrapped and see what the hell is going on. So if you guys are struggling, first off, a lot of slop. So I don't think it's the cable. I think it's the actual bucket, but here's the deal. That's a shove. It does go into gear and all, but it takes a lot of force. So what we're gonna do first, disconnect the cable off the bucket. If the bucket is stuck, then we got to adjust pretty much the torque on the two bolts in the bucket. But if it's not, then we got to come pretty much disconnect the cable from the shifter, see if the shifter moves freely. But once it's actually in gear, like it actually does shift smooth. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go to the back. So this little nut right here, which oddly is so loose that I didn't even touch this thing and it's already coming apart by hand. That's sick. Awesome. That was ready to just pop off anyway. So there you go, guys. That is a bucket issue because I physically am shoving this thing back and forth. So what we're gonna do is we are going to pretty much take these bolts out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pull them completely out, clean the surface, throw some Loctite on these threads, medium strength, so the blue, and that way they won't back out. These things will move freely again, and we'll be good to go. Let's see how she shifts. What do you all think? Ooh, aw. So what that tells me next is our stop pawl is not stopping. Let's take a look at that next. Those of you that don't know what the pawl is, it is this. And it's this mechanism here. And what it does is it actually grabs our gate, which does have some corrosion, but when this goes into forward, this ball actually hooks and keeps it locked in place so it doesn't blast back into reverse while underway. So our spring is weak, so we're gonna have to adjust this ball. If I can even tighten it, which I may not be able to. So it won't lock because it's not actually in forward. So when this has tension on it, what it does is it pulls this spring in or pushes it out, one or the other, and then locks to the bracket. So let's take a look inside. So if I go into, yeah, that sucks. That siggity sucks. Beep. 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 All right, next. Well, we are going to be replacing the throttle cable, or the actual throttle assembly. Let's do it. All right, so I had to jump ahead a little bit. Did need to rivet the new throttle cable assembly, but other than that, pretty much hooked up. We're clamped, both sides, neutral switches in. So now should be able to pop this baby in real nice. Neutral, forward, that, lock it out. Sweet. Back together. So, what did we learn from this video? Not much. Not much. But in the next video, we're probably going to be pulling the trans. We're probably going to be adjusting everything the way it's supposed to be adjusted, because honestly, the valve cover's leaking. That explains the smoke. The trans still isn't sitting the way I want it to sit. It's almost like completely crooked. And it looks fine, but it doesn't feel right. You know, so it's got to get pushed up in the tunnel. So have to make some adjustments down below. I am still waiting for the bushing anyway, which just hasn't come in yet. But I did put that cross member in. The oil change is done. I think if this is accurate, it is 2-year-old oil. It was very dirty. So other than that, I'll probably have something else before this video gets put up again, when I actually do some more performance stuff to it. So I'll see you guys on the next video. And honestly, I think in the spring, just so you guys know, I think we're gonna turn our free lawnmower into a flip challenge. So I'm gonna see if I could turn this free lawnmower, which, guys, I mean, I'm gonna show, like, I just need a belt for everything else works. It does drive. So I put $20 into this thing, if that. So in the spring, gonna sell this, get it all cleaned up, and I'm gonna see if I can flip my way just using lawnmowers to buy something really cool. So stay tuned for that. For now, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.